Hi guys, welcome back to Tina Takes on Scratch Cooking. Today we're cooking from scratch apple pie, America's favorite. I'm going to show you just how to do it. So here we go. We got our Granny Smith apples. I just buy a bag of them. Usually there's 6 to 8 per bag. We're going to have to get these peeled, and I'm going to show you what I do. The first thing I do is I fill a bowl here with cold water. And I put in a little bit of lemon juice, and that's going to stop the oxidation of the apples while we get these all peeled, cored, and chopped up, okay? So just a little bit, couple tablespoon or so apple juice, and then we're going to drop our apples in there as we get them peeled. So here we go. You want a really sharp knife for this, or a potato peeler, and it will make your job go a lot faster. And today I found in my drawer my mother-in-law's apple corer, so I actually gave it a try, and it worked great. Look at that. So we'll get these all cut up. And I'll show you what we're going to do next. So see how fast that goes, guys? Just like that. Pretty quick. We're going to drop that in that water. It's not going to oxidize. I'm going to get the rest of these peeled, and I'll be right back. So I got some pre-made pie crust. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat my oven to 425. I'm going to pop this in while it gets up to heat. So I'm only going to leave it in there about 5 minutes, and I'm going to pull it out. This is not a necessary step, but it really ensures a more crispy crust. You ever see a pie with the bottom when it looks like the crust isn't even cooked through? Well, that's what we're trying to avoid, okay? So just while the oven gets up to temperature, let's go ahead and pop it in there, 5 minutes. Okay, for this recipe, we need 1 stick of butter. Get that melting. In the meantime, while you're waiting for your butter to melt, you can go ahead and get a cookie sheet and just cover it with tin foil. Make cleanup easier, because this pie is so packed that it is going to overflow in the oven. Okay, this is exactly where we want our butter to be. It's frothy and foamy, but it's not turning brown. So we're just going to make a roux here, okay? So I got 3 tablespoons of flour. And we're just going to mix that in there, make a roux. There's my 5-minute timer. I'm going to pull that out. Okay, just for about a minute or two. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Okay, it's getting a little hot. Get it off there. Okay, that's perfect. Now to this, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and it's up to you. You can add a 1/2 cup of white sugar or a 1/4 cup. I find this recipe to be a little bit sweet, so I go ahead and I only add a 1/4 cup of the flour. But can you see that? This is going to turn into caramel. That's what we're really making here, is the caramel. That's our sugars, and to that, add a 1/4 cup of water. And I know you're probably laughing because I'm using my little tiny little tool here, but I thought it would be able to let you see better the sauce coming together. Okay, should get that mixed in really, really, really well. We're on medium-low heat. We're going to bring this to a boil. This is very important that we don't over cook that, because it will burn really fast. Okay, here's our beautiful oven crust. Okay, it's just bubbling. I'll show it to you. See, it's just bubbling. You don't want it to cook. I did that. You don't want it to really cook, but it's just kind of bubbling and got a little warm. Okay, back to this. You're going to want to keep stirring this. Okay. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. We're literally making caramel as the filling for our apple pie. It is really important to keep stirring this. And we're only going to cook this for a couple of minutes. We bring it to a boil, but not a hard boil. We don't want to turn it into hard candy, right? So we're going to turn it down and let it simmer. Okay, see how it's starting to bubble in the middle? That's what we're looking for right there. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful simmer. Okay, remember, we don't want to overcook this because it is basically the recipe for caramel. So, you know, there's soft caramel chews and there's hard caramel. Okay, so just about now is ready. It's nice and thick. See how thick it is? Okay, right when it gets to about that, we're taking it off, okay? And I'm gonna literally take it off the heat, okay? That's our filling. How wonderful is that? Okay, we'll let that cool down a sec. I'm gonna bring you over here. I hope it works. Let's see. Here we got our apples and our pie crust. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the cookie sheet that I prepared. Can you see that? Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these apples and we're just going to mound them in there. Get them in there. Break them up. And it's going to look like it's way too many apples, and it kind of is, but just get them in there. Pile them high in the center, because these are going to bake down a lot. Okay, so yeah, I do know it looks like a lot of apples, but every time I do this and I get them all in there, see there's little holes and stuff, get them in there, they bake down so much, but it still comes out as a pretty big heap of apple pie, okay? I know, some people might think this is too many, but really, when you see the end result of this, you're gonna be amazed. And with the caramel, the taste is unbelievable, you guys. Unbelievable. Okay. That's probably about as many as I'm getting in. Let's see. I only got a couple of slices left. See if I can do it. All right. Found a little spot there. Okay. I know this looks like a lot of apples because it is. It was, I think I said seven full apples. Okay. There she is. Now, all we're gonna do is take our caramel that we made. Oh, it smells so good. We're gonna take our caramel and we're just gonna pour it over these apples. And don't worry, when it bakes down, this caramel will go everywhere. So don't even worry about getting it like on every apple or anything like that. Just try to keep it inside. I know this sounds crazy, but you know, when I was a kid, I used to put the apples into the caramel. But I think this might be just a little bit easier of a method. So I started making this one, I don't know, 10 or more years ago. Okay, so we got that. Now the tricky part. We're gonna try to get this second pie crust out of here without breaking it, which is difficult to do. Here, I'll show you. I just kind of go around it, and I'm probably going to tear it. This one has a couple little tears in it anyway. Yeah, see, it has some tears in it. So I'm just going to do my best to get this out of here. There we go. Can you see that? Okay. There she goes. It's coming. All right. And I noticed that when I pulled this out of the fridge this morning, it was already ripped there, which is okay because we need steam. We need vents to steam it too. So I'm not known to make the most beautiful apple pies, guys, but I am known for making the best apple pies. So I don't do a lot to pretty them up. I don't do all the pinching and the lattice and all that stuff. But you do have to close this pie up a bit. Okay? So I'm just pushing down. There's apples sticking out. That's okay. I'm just going to do my best to kind of pinch this off a little bit. Yeah. I'm not going to win the beautiful pie contest, that's for sure. Okay. But you can take the time. I mean, if that's your thing, take the time and make it pretty. Okay. And I can see, which is no big deal, I already spilled a little. Okay. So I'm just going to grab my knife. And I'm going to go ahead and make 4 slits in this. We already had one over here, so just continue with that one. Okay? Not the prettiest pie on earth, but the tastiest. Okay. Yeah, that pie crust just... There we go. There we go. Yeah, it is not sealed up very well. So, that's it. Now we're going to put it into the oven. That's of temperature at 425. The oven is 425. We're putting this in. Oh, I forgot to put my cinnamon in and my vanilla. Oh, fuck. I forgot a couple ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm sprinkling the top of this with a little bit of cinnamon because I forgot it. Damn. Okay, it's too late for the cinnamon. I'm nervous talking to you guys. I had all my stuff over here ready to go, and what I would have did was I would have thrown some cinnamon and some nutmeg and some vanilla into this. But too late now. Still gonna be great. Okay, it goes into the oven for 425, at 425 for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we're turning it down to 350. We're gonna let it cook for about 35 to 45 minutes until it's done. During that time, we may have to cover it with some tin foil. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, guys, to that caramel filling, you certainly can add a ½ teaspoon of cinnamon, ½ teaspoon or less or more of nutmeg, and I always like to put in about a ½ teaspoon to a teaspoon of vanilla, and that just kind of kicks it up a notch. It's really, really good. And remember, I didn't put in a full ½ cup of sugar, white sugar, so that vanilla sweetens it up as well. So we got it in the oven right now. We're just going to wait for it to bake off. See you in a few. Okay, you guys, the pie has been in the oven, not quite 15 minutes yet. The house smells absolutely incredible. So I got 2 minutes to go. I'm going to turn the oven down to 350. We're going to cook it for 35 to 45 minutes. We want a nice golden brown crust on it, and it's going to be delicious. I promise you guys. See you when I take the pie out of the oven. For goodness sakes, guys, don't open the oven. Whatever you do, don't open the oven. We don't want to let that 450 heat out of there, or that 425 heat out. We want it to come back down to 350 on its own. That's kind of the secret of the pie, okay? Don't open the oven. All right, you guys, here is our apple pie. Look at this baby. Ooh, yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot to cut it in front of you. But here's a slice. This is so delicious. Look at this. Look at this. Can you see all the layers of the apples in there? Oh, delicious. And remember, you can definitely, optionally, put like a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half teaspoon of nutmeg, and a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of vanilla in here. And it's just gonna pump up the flavor a little bit. But here is our apple pie. Oh, thank you guys so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'm brand new, and I love you and love me back. Mwah.